Hello, how you're doing today? Welcome back to another episode of Sofa Talk with Sophia Izzy. To the right of me, on your screen it might be the left, I have got the biggest box of every eyeshadow palette I've ever bought or been given as a gift, and we are going to go through every single one and rate them out of 10. I'm going to be telling you if I actually think the most popular eyeshadow palettes are the best. Sometimes they're not, sometimes they are. So without further ado, let's get into the rating. Grab a drink, grab a snack, and let's chat. It's a lovely, lovely little afternoon today. It is snowing. I am obsessed, I never want it to end. I'm all warm in here, it's all cold out there. What's not to love? Let's start, this is so exciting. I've got a lot of eyeshadow palettes. I'm just gonna start calling them palettes now because we've established they're for your eyes. Oh my God, it's so heavy. Look how many are in here. As there are so many, this isn't going to be a super in-depth review of every single colour. I'm just going to rate it based on the thoughts that come to mind in the moment, how I felt when using them, and the results that they have provided for me. Let's just start from the top and go down. We are going to start with the Huda Beauty Gold Palette. I think it's the Huda Beauty Mini Gold Palette, I'm not sure. This is what it looks like inside. Just want to make sure every single time that it is definitely focused on the palette. There we go. As you can see, I have used some of the colours more than others. I've hit pan on the one in the middle. It's got lots of neutral colours as well as a bold brown, lots of little pinks for a palette called the Gold Palette. I wouldn't say there's that many gold colours in there, do you know what I mean? However, I do love this palette. I do think gold eyeshadow is my colour. It's small but mighty. I do really rate it. It is actually kept in my makeup bag for daily use. So I am going to give this one 8 out of 10. What would make it a 10 out of 10, I hear you ask? More golds. You can never ever have too many gold eyeshadows, in my opinion. So that one's done. Moving on to the next one, because I'm not joking, there are so many to get through. Let's go now with this Morphe palette, which actually hilariously I won in a nightclub. I'm gonna have to tell you the story. First of all, let's just look at the colours. We've got some pretty nice bold shades. So I was in a nightclub when I was around 19, 18, and it was sponsored by Morphe. I'm gonna say Morphe for the purpose of this video. And the DJ says 5 people who are dancing the best and that I notice and call you up to the stage are gonna win a free Morphe gift. This was when I was in my MUA era. I had an MUA Instagram account and I was like, I've got to win. So I was dancing like an absolute fool just so that he would notice me, and he did. He was like, go to the top of the stage. I didn't really know why he was like speaking in an American accent, but he was. They just handed me a Morphe palette. It was obviously in the packaging at the time. It was brand new. I was like, shut, this is the best day of my life. Going to a nightclub just for a night out and winning an eyeshadow palette. Didn't have anywhere to put it because obviously I just had my little clutch. So I was just dancing like this. Anyway, it is anticlimactic, I won't lie to you. I don't really rate the colours. As you can see, barely any of them have actually been used. They are giving sort of clown makeup vibes. I did try to get into it, but I noticed that the pigment and the blend of the actual eyeshadow colours is really bad. It really wouldn't blend smoothly. Just a really bad combination of colours. So maybe they gave this away because it's not really the best. I would say this one is a nice colour. I feel like I'd only ever use this if I was doing like fancy dress, do you know what I mean? 2 out of 10. Next, we've got the Gem of Gems Huda Beauty Rose Gold Palette Remastered. I bloody love this palette. Here are the shades. As you can see, I've hit pan on that one and maybe this one as well. I am literally obsessed with this palette. This is the reason I even got the mini gold one, because I hit pan on the gold one in this one. I use this every single day. I've been using this for around 2 years, I want to say. Does eyeshadow really go off? I use the black truffle one under my eyes most days for a smoky look. That's just my go-to. I love it. Love these ones. The sort of, is there a description on the back? There is. High pigmentation, easy to blend. Yeah, buttery mattes. I'm not being funny, I just love it. I just love it. You do not need a lot of these to go a long way. They're so pigmented. They actually blend on so smoothly. I want those colours in a little palette like this. Do you know what I mean? These are like the legendary shades. I rate this palette 10 out of 10. I've used every single colour except that one. Oh well. Now we're going to move on to this palette, which is by Beauty Bay. I got this palette when I was in my MUA phase and would do very bright eyeshadow looks. I wanted an eyeshadow palette that was cheap, but also good quality. I've kept this in good condition, to be fair. I would say This palette is very handy and useful. If you need to go to a party or a fancy dress, or you're doing some sort of makeup look which is very bright, I recommend it. It's not got the best pigment, I won't lie to you, but for the price, I couldn't go wrong. This was just what I needed. I didn't want to spend a fortune on bright colours that I wasn't going to use every single day. Do you know what I mean? It literally has every single colour, but I'm going to rate it 6 out of 10. I don't rate the pigment. When I was putting on like pinks and stuff, I'd have to use a lot of the eyeshadow itself. Moving on to this Too Faced Natural Matte palette. So let's open it up. Here we go. As you can see, I've hit pan on that little brown colour at the top. I do like this palette. I haven't used it in a long time though, I'll be honest. It is smooth, the pigment is fairly good. If I want a brown neutral look, I would use this palette again. 6 out of 10. It's quite small though. Moving on. Now we have got this Zoeva taupe palette. I won't lie to you, I have not used this palette in years, so I'm gonna have to go off memory here. It's giving cheap vibes. I only ever really used that one there. I did like that one. However, the colours are very boring, so I'm going to rate that 2 out of 10. There isn't much more to say about it. I don't even know if Zoeva still exists. I have a lot of Zoeva makeup brushes, but I have absolutely no idea. Let me know in the comments if it still exists, guys. When I got this, it was at the height of popularity. Now we've got this Tarte palette, which I got all the way from Australia a few years ago on Black Friday. I was really proud of myself for finding this absolute steal. Here it is. I used to love this palette. It has got really nice shimmers. It's quite boring though, like there isn't much going on, but I do like this palette. The pigment is amazing. So for that reason, it's a 7 out of 10. Next, now we've got this tiny e.l.f. palette, which already seems a bit bad. Here's what it looks like inside. Can you guys see? There we go. I won't lie, I genuinely don't think I've ever used this palette more than once. It just doesn't scream out to me. I'm only gonna rate it 4 out of 10. I do like the combination of shades, so that's why I'm giving it 4. Not much more to say about that one. I think it was when I was just collecting palettes. I basically wanted shades in every single color so that I could just say to myself, I wanna do a brown eyeshadow look today, I know the palette to get. I wanna do a vibrant pink look today, I'll get my pink palette. Like I knew everything I had and what I wanted to use it for. I'm a bit of a collector. I used to collect wigs. Anyway, now we have got the iconic, very well-known Violet Voss Pro eyeshadow palette. Taupe Notch I've got. I loved this palette back in the day. Lots of browns. I used it a lot. It's quite dull and depressing though, I won't lie. But I'm gonna give it 6 out of 10 just because it really did get me through when I was 18, maybe I was 17. I used this palette every single day for school. If you want to get like a sort of nudie palette, I don't even know if they still do this anymore, but it's a pretty good option. Moving on now to another Violet Voss palette. This is the HG one, Holy Grail, I think. And guess what happened the day I got it for Christmas? I cracked the mirror. Have I had 7 years bad luck after this? Most likely, yeah. This palette also had a fair bit of use out of it. Maybe you can see. I've used the golds. You guys know I love the golds. I've used the shimmers. I absolutely love shimmers. They do bits for my eyes. Oh, I love it. I should use it again, actually. It's got subtle pinks. What more can you need? We will go 9 out of 10 for this palette. Love it. Guys, I won't lie to you. I just had my cup of tea and it had gone fairly cold and was disgusting. So, yeah. Great. Now, we have got Too Faced Chocolate Bar Palette. Let's see if it still smells of chocolate. Oh my god, it does. This is what it looks like inside. It's had plenty of use, as you can see with that one. I really did hit pan there. I remember this now. I haven't used it in so long. I literally love that shade, that shade, that shade. Oh my gosh. I think you can tell by now I just love the shimmers. This really did carry me through. So I'm going to give this 8 out of 10. A bit flimsy though. Like the outside bit is quite cheap feeling, but the inside quality, very buttery. One of the most iconic palettes to date. The Naked palettes. I got Naked 3, Urban Decay, very old. This is one of the most beautifully constructed palettes to date. I have used many of the colors. This used to be my favorite ever palette. Some of them I would never use, so I'm gonna give it 6 out of 10 just because I feel like only half of the products were usable. But that's a very rare occasion you use every single color in a palette, do you know what I mean? We're nearing the end now actually. We've got the Anastasia Beverly Hills Norvina palette. What the hell has happened to to the outside. Look at that. The outside condition has not stayed very nice, I won't lie to you. Oh, it's like reminding me of all my eras through my teenage years. This is the inside, absolutely stunning colors. Once again, lots of shimmers, very high pigment, I would say, actually. I loved all of those. I used to love that purple as well. Oh my god, I really need to start using these again. Which I rate it 8 out of 10. Really, really good palette. Really good palette. Love it. Very strange, fuzzy consistency for a palette. Don't really think this was sort of suitable if you're going to put it in your makeup bag. Do you know what I mean? Like your beauty blender, your brushes might touch it. It's obviously like discolored over time, but it's not really about the outside, is it? It's about what's inside. Now we have got a mini white chocolate bar palette from Too Faced, which my friends kindly got for me when I was in sixth form. Oh my god, it smells amazing. But it's very, very small. As you can see from a distance, the colors are very small. It's not like you can actually pick up much pigment from this. Also, I don't really love the colors. Like, I've never really reached for them. Do you know what I mean? So I'm gonna give this 5 out of 10. I just think it's too small. I just don't really think my eyeshadow brush would even fit on the little pieces. Do you know what I mean? But it smells lush. Good effort has gone into the design of the palette. Now we have got another Morphe palette that I got when I was 16. I don't think I've used it since. Here it is. I don't know, when I look at that, I just sort of think dull, not really shining out at me, do you know what I mean? Also, I just don't think I suit the colours. They're very, very, very dull. So I'm just going to give this 3 out of 10. I just don't think it's really worth the money, to be honest. And we have got another favourite. We have got the Huda Beauty Mercury Retrograde palette. And let's open this up. This is a very well done palette regarding quality of the palette itself. The shades and the pigment are stunning. You can never ever ever go wrong with the Huda Beauty palette. It's like, yes, they are costly, but they are actually worth the money. They will last you a long time. They are perfect for parties and shimmers, and you've got like the mattes as well. You actually just can't go wrong. I'm gonna give this 9 out of 10. And I've been using Supermoon on the inside of my eyes recently, so it's definitely getting some use. So 9 out of 10. 3 left. Now we have got the 39L Hit the Lights palette by Morphe. It looks okay. I've used some of the colours. I've used that one, that one, that one, these, those, all the shimmers, you know me. I would never use those. Pigment's not great. I'm not gonna lie to you, I think I've really hit home with this one. The Morphe pigment is not great. They should probably work on that. So I don't love it. The colours are nice, but I'm only gonna give it a 6 out of 10. Another one, Naughty by Huda Beauty. Wow. Need I say more about these colours? You've got that sort of ombre effect. It's amazing. It's like being in space or something, like looking at like a planet. You've got that one there, which is almost like an oil, and you put that on as like a primer. It's amazing. I've used Shameless a lot. I'm gonna give this 8 out of 10. I love the browns, love the little pink, love shimmers, you know me. Quality of the palette, amazing. These just really, really are like lifetime palettes. Huda Beauty, you have done bits with your palettes. I actually love you. And then last but not least, we have got another Morphe palette. Who knows what I'm gonna say about this one. Yeah, it's not even got a name, but here it is. I used to love doing a blue eye with that one, then going on the top with that one to make it a bit more of a light blue. So I did actually get quite a lot of use out of this palette, like that one. But I don't know what it is with Morphe palettes. They just sort of whack in colors that aren't usable. Like, I'm never gonna use that one. I think I tried once, it just didn't look very good. I just feel like they don't blend well together as a collective. Do you know what I mean? 6 out of 10 for this one because I did love a blue eye look. So I think we should actually rate the brands now, as I only really seem to get them from the same brand. I think the brand that comes in at the top is obviously going to be Huda Beauty. I love every single one of her palettes. I will rave about them until the cows come home. When people have ever said to me, what palette do you recommend? And I've literally been like, just get Huda Beauty. Ask for it for Christmas, your birthday. I know it's costly, so maybe start out with the little ones and just see if you like them first. Like, try before you buy the big ones kind of thing. They're number one in my tier of brands for eyeshadows. It's a tough one between Anastasia Beverly Hills, Too Faced, or Violet Voss. Ooh, I think I'm gonna go Violet Voss, then I'm gonna go Anastasia Beverly Hills, and then I'm gonna go Too Faced, because I don't think Too Faced have ever really done many shimmers, and obviously that's my fave. Then let's go with Tarte, like the shimmers, Morphe, Beauty Bay's own brand, Elf, and then Zoeva. That is all of my palettes rated out of 10. I can't believe I've actually just sat down and realised how many palettes I've got. I'm swimming in a sea of eyeshadow palettes. Probably just should chuck some of them away, but like it'd just be such a waste just to chuck it in the bin. Do you know what I mean? And like, does eyeshadow ever really go off? Does it? Does it? You tell me in the comments what you actually think about that. So I hope you have enjoyed my little rating of all my palettes. Let me know what palettes you rate the best. Have you got any of these palettes yourself? Which ones do you recommend? I am always open to getting some more palettes, even though it's not like there's any room left. I hope it's been somewhat beneficial to you, useful in any way. Maybe you'll agree with me, maybe you don't. Let me know what you think in the comments. I really want to know. And as always, if you did enjoy this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Oh yeah, and also let me know what other things you would like me to rate, because I am really into rating things at the moment, so let me know that too.